Okay, everyone. We had some. Hi, everyone. First of all, hello, everyone, and welcome to these. Hi, B. Welcome to these. I think it's going to be 4 or 5 Thursdays this month where I will have these talks and Q&As. At the moment, we had some technical issues with both streaming into the group and also with this link. So it's only B and I, but it's still fantastic to have her here and to be able to actually record this little talk that we're going to have today. So hello, B, and welcome so much to this recording and to this group as well. And I'm so happy to have you here. And so yeah, B and I, we met each other on Facebook because we both have businesses on Facebook, and we are running different programs and so on and promoting on Facebook, and that's how we both connected. So B is a weight loss and mindset therapist. And when we started chatting, we messaged each other. I can't remember, you messaged me like a year ago, I think, right? A year. And then I didn't see that message, or I didn't reply to you until almost a year later. And this is like maybe almost 6 months ago. And we started chatting, and then we had just like a coffee chat, and we met, and we just kind of clicked. And so I wanted to invite B today because I think she has a really interesting journey and a story about how she actually became a mindset and weight loss therapist. So B, maybe you could sort of tell me the story, how you became, how did you get into becoming working in this field?
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, Anne-Marie, for having me. And it's nice to virtually meet everyone that will be watching this video afterwards. Nice to meet you all. And it's been an absolute pleasure to be part of this group. I have learned so much from Anne-Marie already and continue to learn. And I'm looking forward to her 5-day challenge next week as well. And one of the things I love, just one of the many, many things I love about having an online business is these kind of connections you get to make. You can meet people all over the world that you wouldn't otherwise meet, because we live in different countries. You are in Spain, I'm here in the UK. And mind you, we have met in person now as well.
Yes, we did. Still, when I was in London a few weeks ago. So before we're going to hear your story, how you got into it, I just want to say that the talk we're going to speak about, it is going to be about self-love and self-respect, and where that comes in as well, in terms of our bodies, how we feel in our bodies. And also, we will touch upon style, towards the end. But yes, sorry, go on. I was just going to say that.
No, absolutely. It makes sense to mention it. Yes, basically, my background is in human biosciences. That's what I studied at university. So most of my adult professional life, I have been very interested how the human body works and everything that's involved in that. And then in the recent years, I've become more and more interested how the mind works and how effectively combining the two, knowing how the body functions, knowing how the mind works, we can achieve some phenomenal transformations in our life, whether they are to do with personal life, business, or health and well-being and weight loss. And so my story, so how did I get to weight loss? I went through, basically I hit a rock bottom during the first lockdown, during the pandemic. Things were leading up to it. I was quite down. I was depressed. I had a difficult time in my life at the moment. And when the lockdown happened, it was kind of an all-time low. And so I was depressed and I was overweight, and I found myself in this vicious circle. The more depressed I got, the more weight I put on, and the more weight I put on, the more depressed I got. And it was just, I was just going around in circles. And I did a lot of work with myself to start with. I did what I call the external work. I did the eating healthily and exercising and forming new healthy habits. And that worked to an extent. But what kept happening was self-sabotage. Was, whether it would be a couple of days or a couple of weeks at the time, I would just have this very strong pull back towards my old unhealthy habits. And I felt like no matter how hard I tried, I just couldn't stop self-sabotaging. And then when I was starting my psychotherapy studies, I got very interested in weight loss psychology.
Wait, one second. Annabelle, you mute, please.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Annabelle.
Hello,
Yes.
hello, Annabelle.
Yes. Hi.
Oh, that's lovely. We've got actually someone watching right now. How fantastic. Brilliant. Nice to meet you, Annabelle. So, and then I realized that was the missing piece, and that weight loss was in fact inner work. It wasn't all these external things. And that's what I started to focus on. And once I did, then everything else surely just fell into place. And I started losing weight easily and effortlessly. And I was having fun, to be honest. And so overall, I lost 38 kilos or 6 stone or I think it's 80 pounds, something like that, like a small person, like a teenager, basically.
Yeah.
And it's now basically my absolute passion and mission in life to help people with similar struggles, because it doesn't have to be that hard if we know what to do and if we focus on the right things. So my motto is that you can't have a Jennifer Lopez body with a Bridget Jones mindset, or to put it more simply, that weight loss starts in your head first, not in the kitchen or the gym.
I think, I've seen those pictures of you, and I'm always like, wow, because I know, like, I haven't, I don't have the experience myself, but I know that it is so much in your mind when it comes to, I know, like, friends, and also I know, and also, me with, because I've never had that experience to gain, because I've always had a weight, all through my life. I've been really lucky to have a very there hasn't been any ups and downs with my weight. I could eat all the time the same, I could have eaten lots of food or cakes, and it didn't really, I just didn't put on the weight ever. But since I became, in my, I think I started to noticing after my 40s, and now I'm 50, I'm going to be 51 this year. So I have noticed differences in how difficult it is to actually keep, the same weight as I was before. The same kind of, it's the metabolism that changes when you get older as well. And so for you, you realized it was your sort of your mindset. You need to change your mindset in order for you to lose the weight. And then it seems to be was easy for you. So before we kind of move on to the subject of sort of self-love and so on, I was going to ask, like, so you said this is what happened to you. So how did you go about when you decided to actually then become a coach in what like coach other people in the same thing? What was it that triggered you to say, okay, now I just want to help other people with it? Is it how, I think maybe you mentioned something, but can you just elaborate a bit more on that?
Yeah, of course. Before I do, I thought I'll just mention what you said about mindset. And although you haven't had the weight issues, and I'm sure there are some ladies thinking, "Damn you, Anne-Marie, it's not fair." But we all been blessed with different
Yeah.
gifts in
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
But having said that, what I did notice in my mindset journey as well, the techniques that I was applying for weight loss can easily be applied in any other areas in your life. And I have done so, actually. I've applied these techniques in my personal life as well as business. And I know you have. So although we don't share the same weight loss experiences or weight loss struggles, we do share similar stories when it comes to mindset and business and confidence and style. So how did I get into it? So basically, I had the results myself. And at the time, without going into my business story, but I was working in network marketing. Now I've got my own online business and I was selling products. So of course it was easier to sell the products because I then was a living proof that they work, although it was more to do with mindset than the actual products. And maybe as a side note about products, any kind of weight loss products, if you apply them correctly and if you do the right things, they can really enhance or they can kickstart that weight loss for you, but they are not going to replace a healthy lifestyle, because unfortunately we all falsely hope that there is something miracle that we can take or do, but there isn't. Anyway, that's a side note. So I had the results myself, and then I coached a couple of ladies. I took them under my wing, people that I sold products to, and I, gave them private coaching for free to kind of test the waters. And these were women that were more like your age. Then I had some women that were young mums. So a different caliber of people. And when they had very similar results, then I finally had the confidence to say, okay, I am confident that this doesn't just work for me. I have seen that it works for other people. It works for different type of people, because kind of this, this mindset stuff is like a universal thing. So that's when I decided to, and also obviously my mindset was changing, and I decided to go all in on my business. And I thought it's now or never, full guns blazing, launched my company and started to do this professionally.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. And yeah, it's interesting how, I mean, I noticed it as well with my mindset, to, start a business or whatever you're going to do, even like training and things like that. You need the mindset to be able to overcome anything you knew you do and anything you want to achieve. You do need to have a certain mindset. Because I thought it's really interesting topic with this, with self-love, loving yourself. And what has your sort of, I mean, I can maybe tell about my journey with my own self-love is, it started, I would say, because self-love is such a broad topic. I don't know if you think the same, but it is also to do with not our bodies, but to do with self-respecting. You put boundaries on things, and something, I remember you said that victimhood is the opposite. Did you say opposite of self-love? Which was quite interesting, sort of, it was really interesting to like a line, just hearing that as well, because I remember before I started my own sort of self-development journey, I was thinking a lot in victimhood in the past, and it wasn't until like I started my sort of, because we say self-love and we all know like, oh, we need to love ourselves, but it's not so simple as, like, yeah, I need to love myself. But there's so many things involved in that, I think. And unless you have, I think from my experience, where it starts is your self-awareness. So having, a self-awareness of yourself. That is how I started my also self-development journey, understanding who I was and what I need, for what I need in terms of my relationships, like boundaries, also taking responsibility, where that's where victim, so you don't see yourself as a poor me, or it's more like I am responsible for everything I do. I'm responsible. I mean, how do you, because it's such a broad topic, how do you see
Now navigate it? Yeah. Absolutely. Firstly, I would say, when I ask people, do you love yourself? Most people will say that they do, but I would invite you to think about it on a deeper level. And the example that I often talk about is unconditional love that we have for our children, because we just love them regardless, right? So I often say, if you had a baby, would you let your baby live off liters of Diet Coke, eat cake all day, watch Netflix until 2 o'clock in the morning? You probably wouldn't, because you deeply love and care for that baby, and that it's not good for them. If you had a teenage daughter that was dating someone who was undermining her confidence, cheating on her, not treating her right, would you say, well, Lovey, you stick with that man? You would say, you get as far away as you can from him, right? And just think that we need to show the kind of love and compassion to ourselves.
Exactly, yeah.
And I think that kind of highlights it. Okay, I don't really love and care for myself like I should do, like I could do. And also, there's a big difference between loving yourself and pitying yourself. This poor me, I've had a bad day. I want to relax now, so I deserve a glass of wine because I'm just going to wind down. Or, I want a piece of cake and things like that. Well, actually, not treating yourself. You're punishing your body, because when your body gets all those toxins, all that sugar, and your arteries are being clogged up, and you don't get enough sleep, it's punishment. It's the opposite of, I'm going to treat myself. And a turning point for me was there was this dark night of the soul, dare I say, when I looked in the mirror and I realized that I was really deeply unhappy with how I looked and how I felt. And I was looking at my image in the mirror thinking, well, is this it? Is this how my life is going to be now? I'm just going to accept that I'm depressed, I've gained weight. And this is a choice that you can make, and you can hold on to this victimhood mentality. It's lockdown, it's hard. Oh, so many people are depressed. So many people have put on weight. Let's normalize it. Let's blame COVID. Let's blame lockdown and everything else. But when you do that, you can't make any positive changes in your life. So I say I lovingly took responsibility and accepted that as much as those things played a role, an important role, at the end of the day, nobody opened my mouth and started pouring food in it. I used my hand and I reached for those things and I did it. So as hard as it is to say it was me, I am responsible, it's also very empowering, because if you put yourself in that position, you can take yourself out of it, right? So that's what I try to do. And I have like a little formula that I talk about for self-love. There's two things that I use, because it's hard to just suddenly wake up one day and just start loving yourself. One thing that I use is basically practice positive thinking. And there's a very simple exercise that anyone can do at home, is every day write down as many things as you can possibly think of why you love yourself and your body. And it's also a really good way of starting to accept your body. And if it's something that you really struggle with, I have clients that would, really dislike their bodies, and they would write things like, I love my eyes because they allow me to see the beauty in the world. I love my arms. They allow me to hug my partner, my children. And it's, start somewhere and cultivate that positivity towards your body. And then a second exercise that's really powerful is, I call it, keep a small promise to yourself. Whether it's your personal life, business, or health and weight loss, set yourself a small goal and then go and do it. Your word is your standard. Prove to yourself that you are the kind of person that goes out and achieves goals. And it's such a simple exercise. Most of my clients will start with having a glass of water when they first wake up in the morning, which most of us can do. It doesn't have to be anything massive. It's better to start slow and build. And what happens during this process from the psychology point of view is that you give your mind evidence that you just keep doing it, keep hitting your goal, and you build on self-worth. You're showing your self-respect, you're being disciplined. So this little formula is that self-love will come, or self-love equals self-respect and discipline. So do these little exercises as a starting point. And the word discipline, to add as well, I think has got such a negative connotation. And I personally used to think of it, it's like having to force myself to do something. Whereas now I have reframed it and I'm thinking, when I make myself go out for a walk, even though I don't feel like it, because I know that our bodies are meant for movement, I need fresh air, I will go and have something healthy to nourish my body. You are loving your body because you're doing what's best for you. So we can, work on reframing a lot of these things.
I think it's amazing. And it's interesting that, what you said about how your lowest point was obviously you saw yourself through food. And for me, it was you saw your weight going up, and then that's what was your kind of that's what tipped you over to actually start the change, because you saw yourself in the mirror and you said, this is just not what I want anymore. This is not right. This is not, I need to have a change. And I think I didn't have that, but my change was actually in a breakup. So it's interesting how we can have sort of different points in our lives when we see ourselves in the mirror and just look at ourselves. And I think the point when you start taking responsibility for, because I started to see a pattern. It's a pattern as well that we have. Maybe even like when you eat, you like you say, you grab, when you're depressed, not feeling well, you grab something, something to eat instead. So, and then it becomes a pattern. And it's the same with having failed relationships that are not really healthy. Unhealthy relationships as well. It's kind of, you're in a pattern. So to break the pattern, I realized, I was looking at myself like, why is this happening to me? And what is it that I do that I actually have these failed relationships that are not healthy for me? And that was my sort of turning point in the whole thing. So it's so interesting that I think it's good to point out that everyone can have different turning points. It can be weight, relationships. It's normally, or even I think I hear people who, maybe have an illness, or it can be anything in your life that's really making you realize that you need to do something about your situation. It can be, even financially, you might have a financial sort of breakdown or something happens and you need to kind of, change that situation that you're in. And then, taking that responsibility is so important. There was something else you said in the end that was, that was what I was thinking of. No, it was really, oh yes.
Yeah.
One thing that have recommended actually with my clients in the past about self-love, and I do that as well to myself, is to, I love the way, the exercises that you had, writing it down. And one I do is to moisturize the skin at the same time as I'm telling myself, that the skin is soft, the skin is, and kind of similar, I just do it when I do something physically, when I moisturize, because I always moisturize the skin. So that is something I recommend to clients, that we need to have an intention to, intentionally moisturize and think of our body. If we, that could be also a good way into loving yourself, is actually do like a routine, in the morning, to actually have these positive thoughts. So like you said, writing down, but also do them while you're actually looking at yourself and your body and thinking really good things.
I love that, actually, for two reasons. Because number one, it's what they call habit stacking. So my first exercise about writing the list, you could forget. But if you have a routine of moisturizing every day, it's going to remind you to do that exercise. So I think that's really helpful. And also you're practicing mindfulness at the same time, aren't you? Because you're being in the moment. So that's a really, really beautiful exercise. I might have to steal that one. It's really good. And I thought I'll mention what you said about relationships. Absolutely, we all have kind of, different turning points. It can be a relationship that's, fallen apart. It can be a financial situation, financial difficulty to find yourself in, whatever the situation is. And we do tend to, I find, dwell on the past and sometimes give ourselves hard time about things. I know I used to, because I used to look back at the time when I was overweight, and I used to think of this time as lost time. Why did I not do it sooner? I wasted my life. And you said something that triggered that for me, is when you said, why is this happening to me? And what we can do is we can reframe it as, this happened for me.
Because
and it keeps happening because we haven't learned, have we?
Exactly.
So you may want to call it the universe or the God or whatever. It will keep sending you the same person or the same situation until you learn the lesson. So I'm a strong believer. The universe says, well, she's still not listening. Let's send her another one, until you learn. And now I have reframed my, gosh, I've lost a couple of years out of my life. I could have been further ahead in my business, or I could have done a lot more. I think, well, no, it happened for me. If I didn't get very depressed, I would have never started studying psychotherapy, because I did it as a self-help to start with. And when it worked for me, I thought, I really want to help other people with depression and anxiety. And then I lost the weight and I stumbled across the weight loss journey. So now I think I'm grateful because it happened for me. So again, we flip the victimhood to, I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't have this experience and knowledge if that didn't happen to me.
Yeah, totally. I'm quite aware of the time as well. I wanted before, because I know we have Annabelle here, and she's one of actually my girls that are in the program that I have. But I wanted to open it for like just a couple of minutes, just a little second for Q&A. But before, I just wanted to, just for like 1 or 2 minutes, talk about style, because
yes, I thought we have left style off.
How, because you said something to me a while ago, like, because when you lost the weight, you had a different, like we've been talking about style, like obviously in, when we just have a chat together. But you said something about that when you put the weight on, you were buying clothes obviously for the weight you were, and then what happened after? So can you just a little bit just tell me like what happened in terms of thinking about, because I know there are lots of there are lots of ladies in this group who are struggling with weight, and obviously they can reach out to you as well to talk about, if they want to have a chat with you, then they can do that. But in terms of your own journey with your style through this period when you were kind of losing the weight, what was your thoughts about your clothes at the time?
Yeah, when I put the weight on, I was very much in the mindset that I needed clothes that would either fit or would make me look slightly smaller. So anything that was flattering or anything that was black or dark color, those were the two main criteria, to be honest, at the time. And what I did, when I lost weight, I actually recycled my clothes. Here in the UK, you have an app called Vinted. So I put all the clothes that were now luckily too big for me to sell. And with the money that I got for those clothes, I then went out and bought new clothes. And the clothes that I started to wear now, and you have had a big influence in this, is that I'm loving color again. I'm really enjoying playing with colors, and I loved your color charts and looking, how colors complement each other and things like that.
Yeah.
And what I have noticed is it really does have such an impact on your mood and how you show up. And when I wear these bright colors, I just feel lighter physically as well as emotionally. But with the style and self-love, I would say that once you start mastering self-love, it will, transform every area in your life. You will look at your health and weight differently because you will naturally want to look after yourself better. In the meantime, I would highly recommend to make the most of this Facebook group and learn what suits you, because I think that is a total game changer. Learning
100%.
what suits you, what cuts, what shapes, what colors. And there's a saying that I love, which goes something like this: there are no such thing as ugly women. They are just women that have no idea how to be beautiful. And I all believe we've got our own unique, beautiful features, but make sure you have, the correct haircut, how to put basic makeup on, what you're wearing. And it will also affect, every single area in your life. If you improve you could argue, upgrade your wardrobe, upgrade your life, level up your wardrobe, level up your life. You'll have more confidence to go out and, I don't know, dating or meet new people, networking in your business. You will stand out in the crowd, as this confident woman. Because let's face it, when you go and watch someone doing a Facebook Live and they always wear the same clothes and it's always black or it's a bit frumpy, it lets the sides down, right? We form an opinion of someone within the first couple of seconds. So your appearance is important. And, and
it doesn't
work
matter
with what you've got.
I agree. I mean, it doesn't matter what size you are. Actually, I've seen some beautiful women who are slightly curvy, and they look amazing. I've seen it on the street when I've walked around, and they just look amazing. So yeah, it's really I totally agree with you. It's not really, and you change. The thing is, you change. This is what I do as well in my program. Is I'm looking into the future, and maybe you do the same in your program. Who are you? What you are now is what you have in your mind. Who you are right now is a reflection of how, what you wear, but also what you eat and everything. So we need to kind of look ahead for us, you know, to have a goal as well. You know, where do we want to be? So yeah, I think that's, yeah, I think I totally 100% agree with you. I know I do. Well,
And
thank you so much.
yeah,
Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah, if anyone wants to connect, I'd love to hear from you. I've got a healthy lifestyle Facebook group if anyone's into that. I work with clients privately, or I've got weight loss programs. I just this week did a transformation workshop. If anyone's interested in that, the replay is still up for sale. So yeah, if this is your vibe, come and join the tribe.
Yeah, 100%. So fantastic. Thank you so much, B. And I thought I would open just a Q&A. If Annabelle wants to ask us anything, you could do that now if you want.
So
Can we hear you?
may I address the same the same question I've put
Say again. I can't say again. Can
you hear me?
No, not very well. Oh, you can put it in the chat.
Can you hear me?
I think it might be your connection, maybe.
Probably. Can you hear me?
We can hear you little, very little. Like, it's like you don't have a mic or something.
Oh, what about now?
Or put it in the chat.
Can you hear me now?
You can try to put it in the chat. Your question, if you can find it. All these technical stuff.
I know. The technologies are wonderful when they work, but gosh, when they don't, what a headache.
Yeah. I also want to Annabelle, are you able to like put it in? I don't know if you can you hear me well?
I can. Can you?
Oh yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah. Yes.
You can
Perfect.
hear me now. So
Yeah.
is it the same? This is the same session we were meant to have today?
No.
Q&A, or it's a
No.
different one?
It's a different one. It's a different question. No, I wanted to like if you have anything in the topic of self-love or anything for B as well, because we have B here. Anything you want to ask B?
Oh, not really, but I was very interesting this topic with self-love and self-awareness and the practicability of literally simply moisturizing your skin, because yeah, one thing that I noticed with me, because of the water that I'm drinking, I don't really have to moisturize my skin as I needed before. Literally, I was looking at my skin now. If I put some, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I can hear you.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay, I can hear you now. So so if I put any cream on top of my skin now, it will mostly feel like I'm over moisturizing. Like literally my skin doesn't really need it.
Yeah, that's possible.
But just on the feet and on the hands. But
Yeah.
now I understand even deeper that so I see the good side that my skin is moisturized, but I see even what I was actually missing and I wasn't aware that I don't really have that connection with myself
Mm.
that you have when you spend time to moisturize your skin, which I'm gonna
Mm.
go back into it, even though
Yeah, but that's why I think what B said about, you know, writing down, because what did you say, B? Like writing down things that
Yeah,
you
or
about your
I
body.
mean, yeah, what I said was that you could just write down, you know, all the things you love about your body, or
Yeah.
we could take Anne-Marie's exercise and do something else with it. For example, what is that you do on a regular basis? Maybe, you know, you blow dry or you straighten your hair. That could perhaps be the time when you say a couple of affirmations, because
Mm.
that's a little bit of a dead time, isn't it? You're
it's
just in front of a mirror, just blow drying or straightening your hair.
Mhm.
So you could combine it with something like that whilst you
Mm.
cook. What I have some of my clients do is that they will affirm 3 times, I love to eat healthy foods as they cook. Or, you know, when you do your hair, you could say, I love the skin I'm in, or I love the body that I'm in. So you could, you know, you could find something similar that works for you.
Mm. Mm. I think that's really good. I love that thing with the cooking. It's really good. Yeah.
And then it prompts you to, the activity prompts you to do it. So
Yeah.
that's what they call it, habit stacking. And the
Yeah.
water that I was saying, the drinking more water, it's hard for people to just suddenly start drinking more water. But if you combine it with waking up before you have a meal or a specific time a day, that acts as the clue for the new habit that you're trying to implement.
yeah, that's
Mhm.
what I do, and I think it's really um drinking regularly water and drinking quite plenty in the morning. Somehow, I do believe that it really helped me to keep the same weight the entire year.
Mm. 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 Yeah, no, it's really.
I didn't put on weight. If you,
Mhm.
oh, sorry.
No, that's
Yeah.
brilliant. Thank you. Yeah. Do you have any other questions or any other questions regards anything, any of the topic today?
No,
No.
no.
Perfect. Okay, then I think we can stop the recording and just want to say thank you everyone who watched this replay, because this is going to be posted on Facebook, in the Facebook group, in the Rocket Your Style group. And yeah, and next Thursday there will be another topic which I will announce this weekend or on Monday. So I'm looking forward to have you there, and I might have another guest next week as well. So thank you everyone for watching, and thank you B for coming, taking your time. Thank you so much, and thanks Annabelle for coming as well.
Thank you.
And I see you in less than an hour. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Bye. Bye, V. Thank you,
Bye.
guys. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.